What's going on, everybody? Steve here with Rake and Profit.
What's up, guys? The Bonafide Hustler is here.
Hey, hey, retro aficionado.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Green Room episode number 40. How to hustle and
Wow.
evolve your online business. Number 40? Got it.
4-0.
4-0. Can you believe it, guys? We've done 40 Green Room episodes. That is awesome, guys. If you want to see 1 through 39, and even, what are we on season 2, Chris?
We're season 2. Season 1 had like 58 or maybe 60 shows on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've done most of them on the Bonafide Hustler YouTube channel. So for everyone watching, be sure to check out Chris's YouTube channel, the Bonafide Hustler, and type in the Green Room Hangout, and you'll see a whole array of episodes. But anyways, guys, if you don't know who I am, my name is Steve, Rake and Profit. Quit my job about 3 years ago. Sell primarily on Amazon FBA, eBay, and Craigslist. Love reselling. Love just the process of learning and growing my business, and just super excited for tonight's show. With that being said, I'm going to pass it off to my main man, Bonafide.
What's up, guys? Bonafide Hustler here, and I buy stuff I find from garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, and I put it on places like eBay, Amazon, my antique booth, Craigslist, and consignment stores in town. I'm one of the admins in the Green Room. Let's hand it over to Yong.
Hey, hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Young. I live in Santa Clara, California. I got that right this time. Yeah, and just like these guys, man, I do it all, man. I do eBay, FBA, antique booth, Craigslist, just about any way I can make money.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I do want to say this obviously is my YouTube channel, Rake and Profit, but our typical Green Room shows are run by the Bonafide Hustler, and we want to keep, it going and flowing. So I'm going to pass it off to Bonafide, and I'm going to let my main man, Chris, take over the show. And let's talk about, Chris, what are we going to be talking about on today's show?
Here, pass it to me real quick. Whew, man, have you been working on your strength lately?
Man, this guy's been like putting me on this program, lifting weights about 4 times a week, man. He's got me drinking cayenne pepper, turmeric, and ginger drinks as well. So
That's right, and your bicep curls have gone up about 100%, right?
yeah, they have. They are starting to peak out the shirt.
Oh, peak. I like that. Peak is good when you talk about biceps. All right, guys. So this is the Green Room show number 40. Of course, before we get the show started, we want to make sure that we sound good. So in the chat, which is, if you're watching the show right now, it's likely live. If it's 8 p.m. on a Wednesday Central Time, it's likely a live show. So take a look to your bottom, actually to your right on your screen, and you're going to see a feed that just kind of is evolving, and it's going pretty quickly. That's a feed where you can not only communicate with us, but you can ask really cool questions and stuff about the topic. This topic is going to be a little bit on the controversial side, I think, and it's going to be one of those things like we're not going to deal with absolutes, right? We're going to deal with just our opinions and how we kind of see the resale space evolving. Of course, someone like Yong, for example, right, who's been in the reselling space for a very long time, might have a different outlook than someone like me, who's been in the game for about 12 years, versus someone like Raken that has been in the game for about 4. Is it 5 or 4, Raken?
I want to say it's more around the 3-year period.
Okay, so around. Okay, 3 is closest to 5 to me, so I'll just say 5 again. Just kidding.
Wow, way to round up. I like that.
Yeah, so we're round up, man. That's what we do on Green Rooms. So yeah, that's what the show is going to be all about. Is about 3 different looks at what we think the reselling space is going towards, and do what you want with the information. But at the same time, just remember, we're not dealing with absolutes here. We're going to reflect on how it has been, what we think it's going towards, and some of the moves that we're taking in the process of point A to point B. So anyway, let's see if we sound good. Bannerez says arbitrage is dead. That's hilarious. Works for me. Sounds good. We're good. Okay, so no crazy breathing. That's good. No one's breathing all weird. What's up, Texas Gal Treasures? Hey, you might Rick, go in that feed real quick. We got a lot of people that I've met in real life, but like, who do you see in there, man?
Yeah, I see a lot of people in the house right now. We actually have last month's Green Room MVP in the house, and I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Is it Aisha?
That's how I say it.
Aisha, yeah, she's a wonderful contributor in the Green Room, so I want to give a big shout out to her. She's been killing it, and she's been posting some awesome tips in there as well. We've got Tanya with Thrifty Treasures in the house. We got Texas in the building. Michael Cook, Brian776B, what's going on? Murray Zuckerman says, good to be aboard. We're glad to have you here, and we're going to take you off on the ride of your life. We got Dan Earlhatted. Hey, Green Room members, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? So, yeah, a lot of people in the comment section, Bonafide and Young, and I do want to let everybody know who's watching right now. We are going to be jumping into the comment section periodically to answer questions and to help you guys out as much as possible. That's really why we do these live shows, because we could create content behind the scenes off the air, right? But we do it live because we want to be able to interact with you guys and help you out as much as possible. So I want to ask you guys for 2 favors right now. First favor, Young, you already know what that is. What do they got to do?
Thumbs
Hit
up.
That like button.
Thumbs
Hit the
up.
like button.
Hit the like
and
button, guys.
Exactly. Show some love. And number 2, we as the Green Room, we've created a free resource for you folks. If you're selling on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, Etsy, Bonafide, tell them about that, man.
All right, so our free resource is 100 amazing items to resell. The best part about this resource, as you can see, is it's a guide, but it's a virtual guide. We're talking PDF on your phone. Learn it before you go to garage sales, and there's always something in there that you can figure out how to hustle better, or you've never seen it before. It's a free guide. The way you get it, look down below in the description box below, and it'll show you exactly how you can get the guide. It's really easy. Plus, it puts you on a really cool email list where I've written about 15 emails. We've all written about 15 emails that are just really, condensed with some really good stuff. So check that out. You'll get the guide. Plus, you'll get on the email list. You'll get notified of some cool private shows as well. All right, so hit that like button. There she is, Aisha S. Jameson Philippi hit my like button. All right, so everyone's saying, what happens when we don't hit the like button? Well, I don't know if you want to figure that out. Basically, this right here, you see this right here on the screen? This is all it takes for me to punch you right here. Bonafide's punch is deadly. Just this little finger, man, will knock you out. So if you don't want the little finger coming your way through the screen, hit the like button. Okay, so and I do want to do one poll real quick. We're going to get right to the show in about 10 seconds. But if you are a Green Room member, just put GR in the comment feed right now. I'm just curious to see how many members are watching the show right now.
We got in the house.
Just GR. That's all you got to put. GR. Okay, so show outline. Here, let me just take this down so I can get a really good gander at this thing, because we don't ever do our shows freelance, or how should I, not freelance, but kind of just on a whim. But I like to be prepared. We like to be prepared. We've all looked at this outline, and it's a lot of really good condensed stuff that I think you guys are going to enjoy. So let's start it off with a general talk that has happened recently with FBA, guys. So it seemed like, what was it, 6 days ago? Am I right about that? 6 days ago.
Yep.
A ton of people started saying that it was Nikon, Sony, what's the other one, Microsoft? Yeah?
Microsoft.
Okay, so Nikon, Sony, Microsoft said basically no more dealing with our products, right? New or used, correct?
Exactly.
That's what they were saying, yeah.
So that came out of nowhere, right? It was just totally nowhere, and there's several things. So, depending on what kind of hustler you are, you kind of go into a certain mode. Like if you're a hustler that's deep into electronics, you start going into this freak out mode, right? And we had a couple members that did that, right? Because if you're heavy into electronics, that's what you know. It's no different than me with bikes when I first started out. If you're really good at it, and these 3 brands are coming up, and you can't sell them anymore, that's a pretty big hit. But it's it's one of those things in the Green Room. We weren't surprised, but at the same time, you have to hustle differently after that happens. But for the most part, we weren't surprised, because any time that you're really into something, and you're on someone else's platform, there's always that risk that they could yank the entire program out of your way. So I want to talk about it in respects also to Raken, and you went, we could look at this on a parallel kind of universe way, but Raken, you went down the same way with Kindle, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was relying on
You did all the right things, right?
Yeah, I learned firsthand that, when you're playing in somebody else's sandbox, or you're playing ball on their court, they do make the rules, and you could do everything in your ability, but things changed. Things can change. But yeah, I've gone through it before, and it happened with Amazon again.
Right. So it dealt with Amazon again. So you're going to hear this quite often today, is that a large portion of what we're talking about today is going to be about Amazon, because Amazon's one of the biggest giants that we mess with. Whether you're doing merch, you're doing private label, you're doing Kindle, or you're doing FBA, you're still on Amazon. So, Young, what has happened in the past, let's say 4 years with eBay? If you look back, What has happened with eBay? And has it gotten more strict, more lenient? Are they trying new things? What are you seeing?
I think they've gotten better. I mean, the most significant changes that I've seen, and I've talked about this in the past, right? Was um, as eBay gotten popular, they made and technology got better, they made a lot of significant changes. And some people complain. Like I remember when the fees went up for eBay. People were complaining, oh, well, I'll never sell on eBay again, and they go on a different platform. But at that time, eBay was a beast. This is before Amazon was doing FBA, so that was primarily the only platform you could really sell on. But people were complaining about the fees going up. But it's like Steve was saying, it's their court, man. I mean, you just have to evolve from it.
Do you remember, Young, when they changed the whole dashboard of like to become a top-rated seller and like all the little, the analytics in the back, and everyone was losing their top-rated seller? You remember when that happened?
Vaguely, because I do remember, because I remember I lost my.
I did too.
Yeah, I lost mine. Yeah, but I mean, come on. Like I said, at the end of the day, eBay, FBA is their court. Just we can whine about it, we can cry about it, but at the end of the day, we just have to evolve from it.
That's right. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to press on is the fact that if you think a small fee going up is like something to whine about, if you think that them cutting rates in half is something to whine about, or them just yanking a certain brand or more brands follow is something to whine about, you know what the most expensive thing to ever hit you ever would be, and that is the concept of being fearful, the concept of whining about it and not taking care of what needs to be next. That's the most expensive thing that you can ever go through, right? Because that kind of quality, and the more you entertain that kind of quality, the more that's going to tax your life. So you really have to look above and beyond, because there's no reason why. And what we do, right? What we do is a kind of a hard job if you think about it, right? It's not exactly super stable, and why tax yourself even further in the realm that we're in right now? So, if you gather anything from this show, it's don't fear anything, evolve from things, and try not to whine about things. So it's okay to whine a tiny bit, but you really need to kick yourself in the butt and go, okay, you know what? It's not like I didn't see this coming, right? That's very important to go. We're in someone else's ballpark, like Young said. You have to assume that the whole ballpark can just crumble at any moment. I mean, if you think about it.
I'd like to interject and say, the key really is to be able to change with the changes. Don't resist the change. Don't fight it. Try to get around it. Try to do something differently. I know there were people in the green room, Chris, who immediately after it, I remember Craig Morris, he put out a great post. There was another person putting out a great post who had put out a great post talking about how they were actually contacting the manufacturer, Sony, Microsoft. They were going through some third-party manufacturer or wholesaler, and they were actually getting approved to sell on Microsoft and Sony. So, you know what? Even something that looks like, oh my gosh, like this is going to destroy my business, that might actually be an opportunity for you, right, Chris? Have you ever had a situation where something really bad might have happened, but there were people who, or maybe you, found a way to get around it and you were able to capitalize on it? I know a ton of people did it with Kindle, and to be honest with you, I kind of crumbled when the Kindle thing went down, and I lost out on a ton of money. And there were people that I knew who capitalized big time on the Kindle change. So when anything really, really bad happens, there's always an opportunity there if you're willing to embrace the change and try to think, okay, this is the reality now. What can I do differently to be able to move forward?
Right, and resisting the learning, right? Because every failure in life comes with a learning. And I wouldn't say that, if you're very heavy into one thing on Amazon or whatever, and it just goes away, are you going to go heavy into that one thing ever again on Amazon? No, you should be learning and going, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I diversify? And how can I prevent this from happening again, right? And so you need to keep asking yourself those kind of questions. It doesn't matter if a rate goes up or, a storage fee thing goes up, or if they just govern Kindle books, for example, right? You have to go back and go, okay, I did everything right, but I'm playing in their court. This is the new rule. how do I still play in the court, and how do I get around it? So we're going to get through all that kind of stuff in the show. So let's talk about the truth about FBA real quick, and the facts about Amazon. So Amazon, we know, is a growing company, okay, and it's trying to be a very, very big powerhouse. And I can honestly say that the ways that they've tried to become a powerhouse have absolutely worked, right? If you asked me 5 years ago what Prime was, I honestly didn't know, and you never saw commercials about it. You never saw anything, right? So, they have a very, how do I say it? They really saw this thing coming from miles away. They acquired the warehouse space, all that kind of stuff, the workforce, and then they launched the Prime program, which was actually, I think, almost 8 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But
wow, that's been a long time, man.
I mean,
it just seems like the other day.
Very long time. And if you think about it, like I signed up for Prime like 2 years ago. I don't know when you signed up for it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the thing where it ships it to you like 2 days, or I don't know. Some other places in the U.S. could be 4 or 6, but that kind of Prime, like the Prime that makes it to where you stay at home and you don't leave your couch and you can just buy stuff all day, like that kind of Prime, right? Plus the movie thing, plus the music thing, plus the there's a book thing too, right? Free Kindle books if you're on Prime, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
So they're getting everybody, man. They're getting everybody. So it started with Kindle, and now went to Prime thing, and then so this is a very big and growing company, a very innovative company as well. And if you, I don't know if you were reading around like some of the things that they're going after now. Now they're going after private label stuff. We'll talk about that later. They're going potentially into gaming, which is a huge market. I mean, gaming.
Yeah, didn't I hear they were going to try to create their own console?
Yeah, they're going to try to create their own console with a CPU chip, really affordable. I'm talking slicing the competitors in half. And I don't know if they're going to do DLC. Likely they'll have to do DLC because I don't know how that survives without DLC. But everything is DLC these days. Everything is downloadable content. No one wants hard disk anymore. No one wants cartridges. No one cares about going to the store to rent something. The most primitive part of what we go through today in life is actually Redbox. Redbox is actually like going somewhere, getting a physical disc. It's like the Blockbuster of today's era, but that's probably slowly dying off as well. All right, so that's basically what's going on. It's all their reputation. So when you look back at Kindle, and you look back at some of the things that were going wrong, while Rake and Profit was doing things right, and Kozil was doing things right, there's also a lot of people that were completely abusing the system, right? And getting there were some really fantastic reviews on all these books that were not fantastic. Am I right about that, Raken?
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of things. That's just one thing, In any business, even FBA, eBay, people abuse the system. But yeah, I mean with digital files, it's a lot easier, and there were definitely people abusing the system. And I think a lot of the authors who were really putting out high quality content they weren't making as much money as they really wanted to, and I think they had to make a change to shift that up.
Okay, Young, have you seen a lot of this? Stuff kind of going on with Kindle. Didn't you do a Kindle for a little bit, Young?
Yeah, I have a few books published. I wasn't heavily invested in it like Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really speak about Kindle, but I mean one thing that I can speak on is even a new platform like Merch has taken. I mean, so the thing with Merch is they've grown so fast. Even now, they're limiting how many shirts you can order because they're limiting sizes, they're limiting colors, because Merch just grew so fast. They're understaffed, so it's hurting my merch business. And I was supposed to be tiered up weeks ago because I've sold way over 100 shirts, but I'm still at 25 because they're understaffed, and it's really hurting my business. But again, am I going to bitch about it? Am I going to cry? Hey, it's their playground. What am I going to do?
That's true. It is their playground. So that's the thing. I mean, everything can be governed. If you're playing on their playground, just remember, if you're playing on anybody's playground besides your own playground, it could all be governed. So that was one of the other reasons why we started the Green Room University, honestly, is because we realized we were playing on Facebook's playground. Remember that, Raken? And,
oh, yeah.
We had our entire business hedged upon Facebook's playground, and so it gives us a way to now like hedge the and it gives us a place to put amazing files and all this really cool stuff and all this great content behind the scenes. But part of the play behind it was to not be on someone's playground 100%. It was very important to us, and we saw that happening a year and a half ago, and we're like, if we're going to build something big, we're never going to put it on one place. We got to own the site. Like that's the way we thought about it.
And that's why we started up the email list as well, so we could stay in contact and add value to people's lives without having to rely on Facebook and YouTube. And that's just one example. we need to really be grateful for the opportunity that we have. I'm not sure if the folks watching know anything about driving traffic or internet marketing or building up customer relations via the internet, but it's a very long, gruesome process, and it costs a lot of money to get eyeballs on whatever it is you're selling, or if you're making a video. How many years has it taken us, Chris and Yang? I know you guys both put out videos every now and then, some more than others, Yang. But how long has it taken us just to be able to get 80, 100, 120 people watching this show live? And that's just one example. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is, we're able to utilize and leverage this huge, amazing platform, Amazon. We could put a product up and it's offered to billions, millions, and billions of people for what? $39.99 a month for our pro membership. So there's anytime you get something that amazing, there's always going to be the pros and cons. We get all this traffic, we get to utilize their website, but they make the rules, right? And they can change them really quick.
And let me just add to that real quick. And this is something that we always preach, right? This is why it's important to diversify your income. Don't just rely on Amazon. If you're heavily invested in, look, we all love Amazon, right? It's a great platform. There's millions of people on it. There's tons of money to be made, but invest in eBay. Do some Craigslist. Do Etsy if you can. Diversify your income streams.
Even get them started up. Like for example, say you're making the most money from Amazon FBA. I don't think any of us are saying, stop hustling hard. Keep killing it. Like I'm killing it with Amazon FBA lately, and I'm pushing a lot of my effort in terms of my e-commerce income into Amazon. But I've gotten my merch Amazon account started up. I haven't put any shirts up, but I've got it ready to go. I'm selling a little bit on eBay. I'm selling a little on Craigslist. So God forbid if something was to happen on Amazon, I still have the Kindle income, the CreateSpace income, the ACX income, YouTube, eBay. I've got merch. If anything happens, I can start loading shirts up. So like Yang says, diversify your income, but you don't have to go balls to the walls in every single stream, but just get them started up just in case. Because, even it's not just for us folks with an online business. What are your thoughts, Chris, on someone who has a job in the corporate world? Are they 100% guaranteed to have a job the next week, the next month?
No. No, you're not guaranteed to have a job. Well, it depends. I see that's the thing. I think in the median type jobs, sub 80K, for example, or let's just say sub 60K. The average of America. I would say those jobs are very expendable. I think when you go higher up, I think that's when the companies have really leaned out quite a bit, right? Entire parts of companies wiped out in '08 or '09. The housing crisis back in '08, '09, all those junkie bonds, all that crap really screwed companies up to the point where you have to run a pretty lean operation these days. And it's never, the days of 20 and 30-year-old, 20 or 30 years in the workforce, those days are over, man. I don't care what anybody says. Those days are over, unless the only way to prosperity these days is to be in the highest echelon, I think, in those companies, with a Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 companies, or to build your own thing. That's the thing. If you can totally build your own thing, but just know that if you go through big places like Amazon, there's nothing wrong with it, but just know that they make the rules. But they also have, billions. I don't know about billions, but definitely millions of people looking at that site every single second of every single day. So if you're looking for a traffic source, that certainly could be the way. But don't ever underestimate the power of you. I think a lot of people underestimate what they can do in life, and so and that's kind of a tragedy, honestly. But at the same time, if you look at the amount of dreams and ideas in this world that go to waste, look at all the people that actually take a dream or an idea to the top, right? Even if it fails, they get kicked down, but they take a dream and idea to the top again, it fails. They go to take a dream and idea to the top. Those people are the people that act, and all the failures eventually come to one big success, right? And then there's a bunch of other people that have dreams and ideas that don't do anything with them.
Don't be scared.
Failure.
Don't be scared to start up a merch or a Kindle or an eBay business. Don't be scared to try it out and fail. There's a lot of people out there who have the belief, you should focus on one or two things and just never try anything else, which there's nothing wrong with mastering things, but don't be scared to try and take your dreams to the top. You never know what's going to work for you. You really never do if you don't try.
That's right. I like Ian Goldstein's comment here. It's a little clarification on what I said. You can always lose your job. Yes, and he says government jobs are different. That's right. Government jobs are a little bit more stable. Same as healthcare. It's always going to be a need for that. There's always going to be a need typically for teaching, right? The only thing is like typically anything else that falls out of there, sales and all this other random stuff, consulting, those kind of jobs are very, very, very expendable. And honestly, in corporate America, if you're in a Fortune 500 company, you're in this very big mentality of up or out. Basically meaning if you're not ascending and if you're not at the top moving this company in the right direction, you're gone. If you're not making your quotas, you're gone. That's just the way it is. So, and why would you think anything else, right? Amazon has to protect their how do I say it? Their image, right? Just like any Fortune 500 company has to protect their image and report to their shareholders all this, data at the end at every quarter. It's very important that they stay on track. And all these companies out there now are leaning up and trying to find how can we run at 110% with like 50% less workforce. That's basically what it's coming down to, right? How can we get the same amount of, and then some to report to the shareholders, that way they don't dump our stock, and then still, keep the leanest workforce possible. So anyway, let's talk about some other things real quick. We talked about Amazon's going into different segments that are popular: private label, gaming, music, video. So they're definitely in the music and the video portion now. The video portion 2 weeks ago, right, Rakin? Amazon Video?
Yep, the Amazon Video Direct, they started up and they launched that out.
Right. What I like about Amazon, it reminds me a little bit about Google. It's like they have mostly like successes. Google, have you noticed, as a company, tries so many times at so many things, and then they might have 100 things that are like in beta stages, and then only like 5 of them make it to something really cool, like Google Hangouts or Google Docs, you know what I'm saying? But they try all these damn things. They try so many things. I think the thing that they need to abandon is Google Plus. I think it sucks, but that's just me.
Wow, I just looked into my, I just pulled up my Amazon Video Direct, Chris, because I uploaded one video and it took like 3 days and it kept it was just like processing, and I just opened up my account under my metrics. I've had 63 minutes streamed for one video, so I am in the game, baby.
That's good. So we have Ian Goldstein saying Video Direct was a total fail, LOL. Aisha S, the biggest holdback is overcoming a fear of failure. That's right. Let's talk about Wen Dang saying, in doing online business, can one survive on income, bro? Well, it depends on what your online business is, depending on how you value your strengths in life. A lot of people have amazing strengths in their life. They don't even compound, how can I bring all this stuff together? And a lot of people that fail try to do it all themselves, right? What we've learned as admins of the green room is that we have to outsource so much stuff, right? We outsource. Young, how many graphics have we outsourced in the past 2 months?
Oh gosh, I can't count. A lot.
Right. Rakin, are we working on our sales page right now, or who's working on that?
Yeah, I mean, we got people working for us. We focus on our strengths, and we outsource the rest to people who are a lot more talented.
That's right. And then when it comes down to, we've outsourced so much stuff because in the end, Rakin's good at what Rakin's good at. I'm good at what I'm good at. Yong's good at interpersonal communication within the room, doing interviews. We're all good at something, but we're not good at certain things. I'm not good at graphics, right? But I know someone that is. Rakin's not good at building a long-form sales page, but we know where to find a person, right? Mm. And Yong's not good at something here, but he might be good at figuring out a widget or a thing that needs to be downloaded to prevent certain kind of firewall stuff, whatever. But we all figure out our strengths, so it's kind of funny.
Pulled that one out of left field.
I know, but yeah, I remember when we were working with that whole. I know. We had the green room exposed for a day or two. Remember that back in the day, a year and a half ago, or no, a year ago.
About a year ago.
All the products available for free.
Oh, we had every one of our files available for free. It was so exposed. It was pre-launch too, so this is before anyone ever saw the site or anything. So it was just one day. Someone was like, hey, that the site you're working on is completely open, right? And so we were like, oh, great. I remember exactly where I was that day, too. I was in a parking garage, and I was flipping out in my car for a second.
I was at the Tony Robbins event, and no, not the Tony Robbins. I was at the Millionaire Intensive event with Dave Koziel, and I didn't have my phone on, and I wasn't even near a computer, and you guys were freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, I was like, Rakin, get out of that stupid seminar, go to your room and get some internet and figure this out with us. Anyway, so, but that's what, these are the pros and cons of running your own business, right? So I don't want to tell anybody, like, look, chase your dream is very important, but just don't ever think that the dream is going to be easy. The dream is going to be hard. So while you're chasing your dream, yeah, have some FBA going, have some merch going, have some eBay going, especially if you're the kind of person that is staying at home a whole lot or in your hometown, then you should be having eBay going. I really think you should. If you're not having eBay going, you better be going to big box stores all the time or sitting at your house, like making a whole bunch of merch designs or meeting people religiously around town for Craigslist deals. Because if you're in your hometown, eBay is one of the best things to have going on, right, Raken? You've been back ever since you came back from your trip. You started that thing right back up, right? eBay?
Did you say eBay? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you started eBay right back up. I mean, Young still does a little bit of eBay. I love eBay. I think it's a great thing to do, and it still has plenty of eyes. The only thing I don't like about eBay, guys, is the fact they're not evolving correctly. The best thing that eBay's done, honestly, in the past 3 years is their app is good now. Finally, this app that I've seen now, like in the past 3 days, is even better than the one like that's been there for like 3 weeks. But their app is really good. I like the app better than Amazon's, honestly. But it's nice. It's easy to maneuver through. But they're not evolving. I mean, Young, is eBay evolving? Like, I'm comparing them to Amazon because everyone would, but are they evolving at all?
Well, I mean, when I went to the anniversary conference thing last year, I mean, they made some significant changes for the better, but I can't speak on eBay because I don't do much eBay. I'm trying to revamp it. I mean, because that's something that we just discussed right before the show. If you guys haven't watched the show with Teresa Cox, man, go watch that one because I was really inspired. But other than that, I haven't really done much eBay, but I'm trying to get back on it. But I can't really speak on eBay, man. Like I said, I'm not heavily invested in it.
It doesn't seem like they make any really big changes. They do little things here and there, and maybe that's just their play. A lot of companies fail when they try to become something other than what they are and what people initially gravitated to them for. I mean, people like eBay because you could sell weird, unique things. There's not a ton of restrictions. It's more intimate with the buyer and the seller. I mean, it is what it is. Chris, what should people do right now? We're about halfway through. Tell them what they should do and what they can expect for the latter half of this show.
Okay, for the latter half of this show, you're gonna expect more crazy. You're gonna get more crazy ideas from me for eBay. No, I'm just kidding. What I want you to do though is everyone here. We have like almost 150 people, I guess. Let me scroll this for one second.
We got a lot of people watching today.
145 people watching. I want you to email eBay and tell them 5-minute auctions. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is what you got to do. You got to hit the like button. All right, this is basically down. If I'm pointing this way, okay. So I think it's down there. So make sure you hit the like button. Expend a calorie, right? Just go like this, just like the Bonafide finger punch right there, and hit that like button. But if you hit it too many times, you might unclick it. So hit it once, spend a calorie. And then, we'll get some more crazy ideas going. But Robert Bannerez, if I hit the like button now, it'll remove my like. So, yeah. Anyway, so this is what it's, yeah, so, okay, sorry. I'm getting so sidetracked by this thing because it's going so fast. All right, so hit the like button and make sure that you tune into more Green Room shows. If you want the heads up on Green Room shows, by the way, the best thing to do is get on the email list. I'm going to tell you right now, but you'll get that guide as well for free. And that guide is cool. I saw a comment earlier in this in the feed that says, that guide is awesome. It's priceless. So you got to check it out. It's really good. We built it about a year ago, and we all started out with 30 brands. We brought it to the table. We could have called it 120 items to resell, but then the thing is, 20 of those items were like overlaps, and so we all came to the table with some really good things. And I think you're going to see it from almost 4 different sides, like what to buy and sell from the coastline of or Connecticut all the way to wherever College Picker was. He was in Florida at that time when he built his 25. Young built his 25 out of San Jose. I built mine out of Austin, Texas. You're going to see, all these great finds from, or what we consider 25 amazing finds that you can find on a regular basis from different parts of the country. So you got to check out that guide. It's a PDF. It's not paper. It's going to be on your phone. That means you can learn it whenever you're bored at the DMV, whenever you're sitting there between curls at the gym. You can learn things.
So what do we got going on? What's the next topic, Bonafide?
The next topic is let's talk about Amazon and private label, because I think this is going to be a big one too. I think everyone looks at private label as a it's almost like I don't know. it's like the heaven's gate. Like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna
The be
be,
all end all, the
this is it.
magic
This
recipe
is
for
where this is the
everything.
goal, right? And that's the thing with private label. Anyone's gonna agree that it requires more cash up front, right? And with as advanced as Amazon's getting, right? I'm gonna tell you what I think I would do if I got into private label. First of all, I would private label something that is just very, very unique. I don't know if I would so much cash in on a trend, but something really, really unique and drive the business from another site, right? But I'm talking something that's unique in the sense that when you research it on the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, like there's nothing competing with it, right? So that forces you to go get a patent for it, right? And if you're really thinking savvy and you got money, you would get an international patent. If you really believe in your product, then you would protect your product against all competition across the world. But that does cost more money. The reason why I'm bringing up the patent thing is because in the most recent, when you look at Amazon Basics, which is their private label, it's Amazon's private label product, and I think what they have going on behind the scenes is they own all the information, right? That every time you're typing in a letter in there or whatever or a key, they own everything, right? The only thing they don't own is your product, but they can find ways around it. They're very smart. So there was like an example. Did you see that article with the example of was it a baby something? Young, help me out, or Raken? You know what I'm talking about?
Was it? Well,
There's an article floating
I
around.
remember reading an article saying if you have a product and it does really good, Amazon at some point will come in and make that same
it's likely
product
to see it
for much cheaper.
Yeah, and they're going to try to figure out ways around your patent and stuff, just like they did with this one baby. I got to find that article. It was in the green room like a week ago.
Yeah.
I know Craig Morris sent it out. So, the green room is a lot of really cool stuff, not only just reselling, but it's also what's around the horizon. Fearful stuff, yes, but it's stuff like, hey, if you were going to go into private label now, make sure you read this because this is kind of like a very big deal. So like Yang said, if you have something that's doing extremely well in whatever category, then they're going to know, and they're going to figure out a way around the patent. Or if you have no patent, you're screwed. I mean, that's the thing.
One thing I'd like to say, I don't know if you know, you guys know, or the viewers know, but I've actually been getting into private label over the last couple months. Took some courses, actually found a product that was profitable. It was something I was going to be able to source for around $3 to $4, and it was going to sell between 20 to 25. Ordered the samples from China, from Alibaba, got everything ready to go. I was getting ready to launch, and over about a 2 to 3 week period, a bunch of sellers came in, Chinese sellers, Amazon sellers, and literally destroyed it. This thing went down from 20 down to $6 over 2 to 3 weeks. And one thing I want to just say from my little experience, and I had something that was really good. I had done my research. I had talked to a lot of private label sellers that were successful, and it was good to go and everything. And it was a generic product. Anybody could come in and copy the product, and that's what a lot of private label people are doing. And I think that's kind of what Chris was touching on. If you do something private label, you might be able to make some short-term money off of it, from my knowledge. But there's a good chance that maybe Amazon, or especially right now, another seller is going to come in and they're going to find your manufacturer, and then they're going to get it. If they have more money than you, they're going to be able to get it for cheaper because they're going to buy more quantity. So my advice is, if you're going to go into private label, find something unique, different, create it so it's better. I'd recommend even trying to find suppliers that are off of Alibaba, going to these events and stuff, because I know exactly what happened. For some reason, the product I had got out somehow. I don't know if it was on a review site. Someone found it, and everyone just went on Alibaba and ordered the product, and it was easy. A lot of these people, what they're doing is they're just copying the same item. Say you're making a cell phone case for a certain phone. All people are doing is going to Alibaba, they're ordering it from a manufacturer, and that's it. So what's to stop the next guy from doing the same thing? So try to get something unique and different, like you were saying, Chris, for sure. But I think it's a great opportunity, but it's not as easy and simple as people make it out to be.
That's right.
The only advantage, in my opinion, that private label has, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm not doing private label yet. Something I want to get into, but in my advantage, the one big advantage that they have is it's a business that you can sell at some point. See, when you're doing retail arbitrage, when you got thrifting and garage selling, the money's great, but you can't really sell the business at some point, right?
Right.
I know of a lot of people who got into the private label business, and their business grew, and then they ended up selling that business. But you can't do that if you're doing retail arbitrage and thrifting and garage selling.
Yep. And we got Chad Goldenfinger Picker in the chat. What's up, Chad? Good to
Chad,
see you, man. Got a lot of, bargain hunter one-on-one. Creating your own product is key as well. So the person that comes to my mind on this is, someone like our very own Cody Hawk, who created his own product, his own site. I mean, he's doing it the right way, honestly. There's nothing to say that he can't sell it somewhere else, but he's doing it the right way. So, either this thing's going to be a immense success or it's going to be a failure. But either way, it won't fail because of Amazon for the most part, right? It'll fail because of Cody Hawk. And I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening because he's real pumped about it. He talks about it in every one of his videos. And he eats, sleeps, and breathes the kind of stuff that he's making. So I really have a lot of respect for the guy. I looked at his website yesterday, and it's even better than ever. So I think it looks amazing. But that's he was showing that journey a year ago, right? Or even before that. Like, you got to create your own stuff, and that's what the show is coming down to. If you're going to invest a lot of time into any one place, then you're at the mercy of any one place. I don't know what else to tell anybody. If all you buy is Apple stock, shame on you, right? Like, you gotta diversify a little bit. Buy some McDonald's, buy some Coca-Cola, buy some Apple,
buy Amazon.
Buy some Amazon, buy some Tesla. Do things like that. But I mean, you want to be fingers dipped in all kinds of places. So that way, when one place gets hit by something really nasty, at least you got 4 other going on. So. The only downside to that is you become a jack of all trades, which also, it's a catch-22, because that's also kind of not a good thing as well, right? The people that get their dreams and wishes and all those things accomplished in life aren't jacks of all trades. They're always a master of one thing.
It's a tough thing right there, like what you talked about. That's something I deal with, and challenges me every single day, and I think it's something that I guess we learn from with experience and as we get older and mature, I guess. That's something I'm dealing with right now. Keep touching on that, Chris.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you guys got to figure out. I mean, the fine balance between, pursuing exactly what you love, because quite honestly, if you're doing what you don't love, not only is it a job, but it has a higher sense of failure, right, attached to it. Because if you're not in it all the way, I mean, quite honestly, somebody that's in it all the way, even that has less money to get this thing started up, is probably going to do better than you, right? Because that person's going to be blogging all the time, making videos on Snapchat all day long. If they don't have let's say you have more money than someone else to start something, that doesn't mean anything. If you have the willpower to create something, that is everything it takes to bring a really big company down. If you have the willpower, so I'm not talking money. I'm talking about the willpower and the drive and the passion. That's the problem. I think a lot of people pursue things that they're not passionate about. I've seen some people's videos on private label about supplements that they're into, and like, but you can tell they're passionate about it because they use it themselves. Like, they know everything about it. Like, every question about the product, they know the answer to it. They use it themselves. That's good. That means everyone that's watching the YouTube channel is going to be like, all right, I like the guy. He's using this, and that's his private label product. I'll support him through that, and I'll give him a good review as well. So, there are ways to do it, but you have to eat, sleep, and breathe your products on private label or what you do. Because if you're not eat, sleep, breathing it, you're probably just not only a jack of all trades, but you are, it's just going to be repeating your entire life that way.
And you know what the problem is? If you're not eating, breathing, sleeping, whatever it is you're doing, there's someone else out there who is. And they're focusing on it 100%, and they're going to kick your butt.
Oh, absolutely. And that's all it takes. The only, when someone kicks your butt, I mean, all the media, all the news and everything, they idolize that person, right? I mean, if you think about it. So what's your advice, Chris, for someone who wants to hustle and evolve? And Yang, I'm interested to know your opinion too. Someone who wants to hustle and evolve their business, say they're doing a few things right now. What's your biggest tips, Yang, to somebody who, maybe they're running a few businesses and, they're not sure to focus on one thing or to do a few, they want to increase their income. What's the biggest thing that you'd advise somebody to do?
Focus on one thing at a time. I know earlier we mentioned diversify your income, but focus on one thing at a time. Get your eBay business up and running. Once that's up and running, then do FBA. Once FBA's up and running, go do Etsy. Don't try and do everything all at once.
Great advice.
You're just going to end up killing yourself.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Okay, I like that one too, because one at a time usually leads to less procrastination, more focus, and it's good for people that have borderline ADHD or ADD, whatever you want to call it.
I call it the squirrel syndrome. Oh, I'm looking on FBA. Squirrel. Oh, let me do eBay. Squirrel.
One thing I'd like to say, I don't know how to say the quote exactly, but I was listening to something about a rocket ship. When a rocket ship goes off into space, it uses up like 80 or 90% or some ridiculous amount of its fuel right when it takes off of the ground. So most of all of the fuel is used right to blast off because you're fighting resistance, you're fighting gravity, and it's the same thing too when you start an eBay business or Amazon or Etsy or merch or Kindle. The hardest part is just getting the business and getting it in motion, right? Learning how to sign up for it, learning how to send in your first item or create your first design or to set up a system or how to learn the dashboard. The hardest part is the first part. That's why I love what you just said there, Yang. That's actually what I've done to start up initially. Like that's my entire story. I started from Craigslist to eBay to YouTube to Kindle and it was always focusing. Like I always had a main focus for a short period of time, and then I would focus on something else. But it's kind of like riding a bike. You forget about it. Like you just do it, and like you don't need to like put in so much effort to keep it running. Once you get it going, kind of like the rocket ship example.
Yeah. So Young kind of said what he said. Like if someone's brand new and they want to get in the game, they don't know where to start. What was your question again? Sorry, Raken, but I thought I heard. It was around that. Like, what advice would you give somebody that's?
Yeah. What advice would you give somebody who wants to be able to evolve their business, but they're just not sure? They're doing a few things. Maybe they're making a couple $1,000s a month, but they want to double it. They want to triple it.
My advice is really, really simple. This is what I would do. Okay. So you hear it first from Bonafide. I'm always some different weirdo guy with my thoughts, but like here's what I would do. Okay. Ditch your cell phone. Go somewhere very quiet with a really good vista. Okay. Something that you're looking at that's very nice and awe-inspiring, right? And get away from the cell phone, get away from all electronics to where you almost get lost. And I want you to listen to you about what motivates you. You're going to get a piece of paper kind of like this, okay? Well, 8 by 11, get something hard to write on it. And I want you to divide it into two sections, right? You write a line right down the middle of it like this, and one's going to be pros, and one's going to be cons. You're going to put down the next steps that you want to take. Like, okay, maybe I want to start a Kindle business. Pros, right? Could make a lot of money. I see some people making 10, 30K a month, 40K. The biggest guy makes, what, 50, almost 70 now? But I don't know how he does it. But anyway, so that's the pros, right? What's the cons? The cons is heavy governing, reviews are getting, could be bogus reviews, all kinds of stuff. The cons are also, you got to outsource a bunch of VAs. You got to get really, you got to do that. Also, a pro is its laptop lifestyle, right? You can take this laptop to Thailand, and you can make Kindle books from it if you think about it, right? No actual inventory, so that's a pro. Then you go down to eBay. You go down to all these little things, and then after you're done doing all that, and you're still looking at that amazing vista, and you have no cell phone ringing, so it's going to annoy the hell out of you, or so it won't annoy the hell out of you, you're going to write a 1, 2, 3, and 4, like how do you feel about those things? 1 being most passionate, 4 and 5, and all the way to 10 being the least passionate. And then after that, you rank it to amount of cash you can make from each one, or money and happiness, should I say, money and happiness. So then you rank that, and the ones that come towards each other closer, like I have high, I really want to do this, and it seems to rank high with money. So maybe this is what I need to go with as my next step. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are you saying that people shouldn't only chase the money? They should also think about their lifestyle? Because that's one thing I think about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know I could double, triple my income, but I don't want to switch up my lifestyle. And maybe that's a flaw. I know we've talked about this before in the past, Chris. I mean, do you think about it in your life? Like, could you double or triple your income, Chris? But maybe you wouldn't spend time with your girlfriend or your dogs. I mean, do you have specific goals that are tailored just for you?
Yeah, I was on a podcast interview yesterday, and it's going to come out, I think, tomorrow. I think it's getting edited today because I was talking to the guys behind the scenes. He's one of our Green Room members, but anyway, he has a podcast that gets a fair amount of downloads. So I thought I was just going to do an ordinary podcast episode, right? But the interesting thing about this podcast, and maybe it's just the fact that it was a Green Room member, that the podcast wasn't like, well, what do you buy and sell? Is it auction or buy it now? It wasn't anything like that. It was more like what keeps you motivated, what keeps you happy. So I really thought. Raken, what is it? Let me make sure I answer your question correctly. Give it to me one more time. That way I want to answer it right for you. and not like based on this podcast thing. But go
You
ahead.
know, people want to always make more money, right? But they don't think about what they're going to have to sacrifice. So the question is, do you not only consider the money, but also consider the lifestyle that you live?
Yes, the lifestyle. See, that's the problem. I think people don't understand the value of a good lifestyle. It's so important to chase a lifestyle before you chase the money. And I'm not talking like, okay, well, I want to be on a yacht in the Mediterranean, and I want caviar, and I want some expensive champagne. Okay, that's a little. Your lifestyle has to be, reasonable, right? And it has to be attainable within the moment very quickly. So you have to get a lifestyle going on, and you have to understand one very simple thing: was the healthier you are, I think the better you look at money. I'll put it that way, right? The more realistic you start looking at money. You start realizing, okay, it's not really that important, but it is important, right? But it's not as important as I thought it was. And the lifestyle is the most important thing, because quite honestly, I don't even know what it feels like to be sick that much, honestly. In the past 10 years, I can't remember the last time I got sick.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it feels. When I had that crazy back injury like 2 months ago, most doctors would be like, hey, just chill out, no working out for you 6 weeks. I didn't do that, right? I didn't do that because my father has told me something, and he's a retired anesthesiologist from the MD Anderson Institute or whatever in Houston, and he said, the human body is capable of very, very incredible things. And so I've thought about that for almost 2 decades, and honestly, I started researching more and more and more. I'm like, you know what? I can keep working out, but I have to just do it very lightly, right? And I have to build up my tolerance again, and then realize what I did wrong to create the injury. And I figured it all out. It was incorrect warming up. It was time of day. It was just something really stupid. And I was like, you know what? I learned from my mistakes. But what I'm trying to say is chase the lifestyle, because without good health, there's nothing. There's nothing. I mean, if you can't run around and kick a soccer ball around with your kids, that's not good. That's not a good thing, okay? You should be able to, do these things. These are things that human beings should do. We have 2 legs, we have a heart that's circulating blood around our body, and we should be able to walk and run, up to a certain age.
We see a lot of people, especially even in the green room, Chris, who they're just 100%. They're outsourcing picking all day long, and on YouTube as well. What advice would you have to them?
I would say honestly, evaluate the situation on why you need to do that so much. There's the difference between an addiction and maybe I have to do that because I got to make my bills paid or whatever.
That's a good point.
Maybe your fixed costs are a little too high. Maybe you can cut corners in your life and start, thrifting some clothing, getting your diet down into a healthier diet, buying in bulk. There's all kinds of things you can do. But see, the thing is, if people live in this like now mentality, like now, likely you're going to convenience stores, you're doing all this stuff that's costing you more money. I mean, it's costing you more money. And the more money that you shell out, the less happiness you have, because you're like, I got to now make that money with FBA or merch or whatever. When you realize you can be much simpler. I mean, you can live a much simpler life and be completely content. That's why when people look at my life, for example, they're like, dude, you have like all this stuff going really well. But I'm like, you know what? I've thrifted most of it, okay? I've thrifted most of my life, and it feels good. I mean, Ray can be down here. The gym in my garage, I think my gym build's like $1,100. But it looks really good, and it's functional, and we get great workouts in there. But most people that go in there are like, man, I think you dropped like $4,000 in your gym. And I didn't, but I have an amazing lifestyle from that gym. It's helped me walk faster and do all the things that I like to do. Anyway, we're getting a little bit off topic, but hey, Young, what would you tell someone that sources nonstop? I mean, from start to finish, Monday through Friday. I mean,
Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, Monday through Sunday. What would you tell that if you could tell that person something in a respectful manner, of course? But like, what would you say, or what's your view on that?
Man, take a chill pill. It's not all about that money. I mean, I was talking to Paul Perez from the green room about this. I mean, we can make all the money in the world. At the end of the day, stuff like this. When I die, I can't take this with me. I guess technically I can, but I mean, yeah, it's good to have money and toys and stuff, but I mean, what's it all for?
We'll put it in your casket for you.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's not about the money. I mean, unfortunately, our society relies on that, and it's very unfortunate. Steve, I mean, you've been to my place, man, here in California. I mean, other than my inventory here, I don't really have much, do I? I mean, I got the computer. I don't even have a dining set.
It's literally 4 walls, inventory, a dog, and a bed.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because I don't need much. I live a very simple life. I have a simple wardrobe. I don't need fancy toys. It's just, and you know what? 10 years ago, I was the opposite person. Man, I wanted the best clothes, the nice suits and all that. But then I realized I'm like, I can't take that to the grave with me. What am
I
I
like
going to do with it all?
Dwayne Hale's in the chat right here. I got the pleasure of meeting Dwayne Hale last year at the Green Room meetup.
Great guy, great guy.
Yeah, really amazing guy, and we all met him actually. But Mothership Products, that's what he goes on YouTube. He says, ask yourself why. Why am I working so hard? What is it costing me? That last statement's the best part, because not only are you asking yourself why am I working so hard, the last statement requires you to think a little bit more critically about what's going on. Like, what is it costing me? If you work so hard, it's cost can be better explained with, what other things could this time go to, right? So this is the thing. When you pursue things other than work, and what we do is work. It's a problem with the way we look at it. I mean, it takes work to do sourcing books, Rake, and it takes work to go to garage sales. It's fun work. It's work where a boss can't tell you what to do, and you're not reporting into an office, but it's still work. The question is, how are you balancing this amazingly fun job with things that need to be taken care of, like staying healthy, right? And that's one of the things. We're going to have Reagan and I were talking behind the scenes about this, but we have the Green Room is going to go through an evolution of its own at some point. And one of the pieces it's going to evolve to is it's going to have a little fork. That doesn't mean that there's going to be any less information in one section than the other, but the fork is going to occur, and there's going to be a couple of things. But one of the things is a little bit more life-centered like room. And that's going to be cool. That way it doesn't populate against the reselling portion, but it's all the cool stuff that when I've met the people in real life. I mean, a large percentage of the ones that are here in the chat, and I got to tell you, when I took them to off the beaten path in Austin, Texas, like in these amazing little streams and waterfalls and stuff, and I took them to, play at Top Golf, and we took them to an arcade, and then we took them to, oh gosh, like really good Texas barbecue. I mean, people were like, man, this feels like summer camp. This feels so cool to just know that you could walk in the woods and it doesn't cost anything, right? But we're just jumping in the coolest waters, and it just feels good. And this happens in every town. You have amazing things that are very low cost, but no one decides to pursue them except for the people that are completely enlightened inside their body, going, okay, this exists. This is like a gem. You got to find those kind of things in life. It can be as simple as a vista, a really nice lake. It could be simple things. Why do you think Raykin, clears his mind and goes on a bike ride, multiple times a week, right? He has sometimes a shirt on, sometimes he has a really big jacket on, but the more important thing is he's on a bike the entire time, right? So he's not taking the cold as an excuse going, I can't go because it's cold. He's going, I need to clear my mind, and I want to think about things, so I put on a jacket, and I go, okay, it's warm, so I don't put a jacket on, but I still go because it's time to think about things. But that's what we're trying to say.
So here's the thing. At the end of the day, I've said this in one of the episodes, like about a year or two ago, one of the earlier episodes, and I was talking about my parents, right? My parents worked hard. My mom, she worked multiple jobs, 2 full-time jobs. And as much as I love them, I don't ever want to be like them, because I don't want to be the guy who's working 80 hours a week to survive. I don't want to have to work harder. I want to work smarter and enjoy life. That's what I want to do. That's the guy I want to be.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you have to learn from every person that you've ever shaken their hands, your parents, whatever they've told you in life. You learn everything. The problem resides with how much information everyone's got, and you have to be able to tune all that out and go, okay, now what do I want out of all this? How can I change the world? How can I do things? How can I be better? And what's the best advice, and how can I get there? Because there's a lot of bad, terrible advice out there. There's a lot of crappy products that you should not be buying. There's a lot of things that out there that are out to get your money. There's a lot of things that will ruin your life. But the question is, how can you make sense of it and know your own values and go, okay, you know what, I feel good here. I know my product's going to work. This is how I'm going to do it. I'll leverage it this way. And then I'll get my family to finance it with me. There's all these different success stories, but it starts a different way with every person. Watch some Shark Tank, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, right? How many times in Shark Tank is it, my family helped me start the business, I raised capital from here, but we eat, sleep, and breathe this thing. We haven't had a single night of sleep. That's what it takes, it takes passion and drive. So anyway, let's close it with a little bit of housekeeping. We're an hour into the show. I can't say with enough confidence that we got through everything, but we got through some very important
Great
pieces that
show.
everyone needs to know about.
Awesome show.
Let's talk about some housekeeping. Ricken, what's on housekeeping right now? What do we got going on next?
Yeah.
Week? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that if you are a Green Room member, because I know we have a lot of Green Room members in the house, the tickets for the Green Room dinner are available. And some people were asking, why are they charging for tickets and stuff in a comment. It's because we're going to a really, really nice place, and it's super, super expensive. And if we paid for it all, it would probably be like $10,000. So we're collecting $30 each for the Green Room members, and we're going to be paying the rest of the bill for each person. So that's going to help us out a little bit. But yeah, go over to the Green Room University site if you are a member, and go over to the event tab and get your ticket. We're about 60% sold out, so be sure to get the ticket quick. We got a lot of awesome things planned for that event. Not only that night, but about 3 or 4 days in advance. Prior to the event as well.
Yeah, that's right. And might I suggest the emphasis on the word event versus dinner. Last year was a dinner, an hour and a half. This year is an event. It's lasting 4 hours long. So
DJ, dancing, unlimited food, drinks.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time. Raffles, giveaways.
Background with all the conference calls to get this thing where it was, but quite honestly, I'm starting to feel very, very, very good about it because it's rapidly approaching, and a lot of the harder work has been done already. So that's good. If you're in the Green Room, just go to the Green Room University website, look at the event page, more information about where to stay, hotels, all that kind of stuff, and then we will be seeing you in Austin. Yes, there will be some thrifting, some cool stuff, but there's going to be some eye-opening things as well, some things to make you think differently, and of course, all the camaraderie in the world with your fellow Green Room members that are probably in the chat right now. Okay, Ricken, is that pretty much it? Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, if you are a member, make sure that you register for your login and password. We've been updating it with a lot of Bolo videos, updating it with a lot of private shows, interviews. We have a new eBay resource, eBay course in there, a new Amazon FBA course in there as well, including about 5 or 6 other ebooks and courses in there as well. So if you are a member or you're thinking about joining the Green Room, you can head over to greenroomuniversity.com and you can check out everything that we have to offer over there. And we do have a monthly membership that we've introduced recently, which has become quite popular. We've got about, I think, 530 members now, guys. So the community is definitely growing, and it's a lot of fun, and would definitely love to have you guys over there. So check it out, greenroomuniversity.com. But besides that, I think that's about it. It was a great show. We had about 130 to 160 people watching live the entire time. So we definitely want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for watching and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. And, we love giving back, making a difference. And that's just one of the things that we're really grateful for, is that we're able to help others and make an impact in the world. And I think that's really the biggest thing. If you're learning, you're growing your business, don't be afraid to help another person out. Don't be scared to take somebody by the hand and teach them the business. There's plenty to go around. We're living in an abundant world. Tons of money to be made. But that's pretty much it. Make sure to hit the like button. Show some love. If you already hit it, don't hit it again, because that will unlike it. But hit the like button, show some love. That helps get this video out and build a little social proof with the people coming in. Also, be sure to get the free guide below in the description area, 100 amazing items to resell. That'll get you that guide. You'll get on the email list. We got a bunch of goodies in there for you. Plus, you'll get updated with the live shows. And that's about it. Anything else you guys want to say, Chris and Young?
No, thanks for watching. And, I will say this. I don't do a lot of YouTube videos, obviously, but if you guys ever message me, I do respond to all messages. Sometimes it might take me a few days, but I respond to all messages. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me on Facebook.
Yeah, and I have one last thing I want to say. Just remember from this show, don't take everything as an absolute, okay? So what we talked about today are just, our thoughts and how we see the landscape evolving, and our general outlook on certain pieces of life. So, take it as you may, decide to go down the road that you're going if you want to, but if you do want to change and you figured out that this, maybe this was an instrumental piece of the change, then don't forget to watch every one of our Green Room Hangouts every Wednesday, and we'll be back here on next Wednesday with hopefully an amazing guest, and till then, Ricken, we out of here?
We out of here. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Bye.